We're live.
Finally, we are now live.
Live from the backyard.
Yes, exactly. It is October 11th. It's like probably 12:30. October 11th, 2020. And it's a nice, like...
It's beautiful today.
Yeah, it's really nice out. It's like probably 60 out. And,
this is my kind of weather.
Yeah, exactly. And we got the fall leaves all around us. Anyways, so Mr. Kyle is a big music guy. So he's in my grade. We're both seniors. And he was in my advisory for all 4 years.
Yeah,
well,
we were like
years.
Locker buddies. And
yeah, you were right next to me the entire lockers and everything.
First day of freshman year, I knew.
Yeah, exactly. So I've known Kyle. We're not like best friends, but I've known him. You know what I mean? Like, and we talked, and like we're in band together and stuff. And so his big thing is that he's a music guy, and like you play what 3
Guess you could
instruments,
say
right?
that. Yeah, I play whatever comes my way, really.
So what, like
I try to play
saxophone,
piano, bass.
You play piano?
I sing.
I know you play guitar too.
Yeah, I
like,
dabble with guitar.
Oh, really? Because like guitar's like my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm not good, and I've only been playing for like 5 months, but like that's my thing.
Yeah, I'd say I make them work. Like I'm not the greatest instrumentalist in the world. But
Yeah. Well,
I try and make it work.
right. I mean, you can like jam out with people, right?
Yeah.
That's what's cool. Like, you can be at a party and like pick up a guitar, a bass, a drum, right, and like be able to make something work.
Yeah.
Which is like such a cool that's such a crazy cool skill to have.
It's a cool part of music, I think. Like that's for most of my life, that's what music was. It was never like organized. It was like
right, but like that's what I
jam.
envy. Like I envy that. I want to be able to, like, it's like no one's speaking. You're all playing music, but it's like you guys are all in the groove and like reading each other, reading the room, trying to see like how this will work. You know what I mean? It's like my dad has been playing piano for 40 plus years.
Oh wow.
He doesn't know how to read a lick of like notation, but he can tell you everything about the piano. So we go to family parties and his friends playing the bass, someone's on the drums, someone's playing guitar, and he's playing piano, and they're all just jamming out, and everyone's like grooving out, and just it's just like how it is.
Yeah, that's very similar to my dad. Like he grew up reading music, and then over time he was kind of like got into like punk rock and was like, I'm done with this. Let me play bass. Let me play drums. And he doesn't know how to read music, but he has that like musical ear. Yeah. So he can pick up any instrument and like make it work.
Right. That's like, so my dad can sit in front of a drum kit and like play something.
Yep.
And like when he was a kid, when he was like my age or our age, he was in the band and stuff, and like that was like the thing in the 80s, 70s.
Oh yeah.
Like right now, like everyone's a producer and like makes rap beats. Like that's like how it was back then. Everyone.
Oh
was
yeah,
in a
my
band.
dad played in bands up. He's from Massachusetts. He's actually from Japan originally.
Yeah, Takata. So.
Yeah, he's from Massachusetts, and he would play with his friends, and he still plays with them, which is really cool. Yeah.
Really, yeah. See, the issue with my dad, with all his friends were like druggies and like crack and shit. So, but like, I mean, so he had that whole experience like of being in bands when he was like in his teenage years, and after that, like, he like quit his band when he was like 19 to like pursue college. And so, but he still has that like music, like we have the music room in the house. Like if I took you on a tour, you'd see like you walk in the kitchen, in the next room is a piano, two pianos there. We got guitars.
Yeah,
everywhere.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like that's why like my sisters, my oldest sister's always been playing piano, just dabbling. My sister Julia is up there in that. She's does music on her, sings, she produces with Logic with her Mac, and I've bass clarinet was never my thing, but I was playing it, and like I knew it was like important for me to do music and be involved with it in some way. And I've been playing guitar in the past like 2-3 weeks. I've been playing it much less than I wish I would, but like over quarantine and summer, like I probably played like 30 minutes every day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, yeah, it's like pretty good, and I don't really know how to play song, but I know a few chords and shit like that.
Yeah, that's definitely the important thing. Like I see a lot of people trying to learn instruments, and they'll take like a solo they really like or a song.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll try and play it like exactly like this guy's playing it at the exact speed. It's more important that like you learn the scale that he's using it from.
Okay.
And then you can like, I don't know, if you're playing like a guitar solo.
Yeah.
It's important to realize why you like that guitar solo.
Well, I'm super into David Gilmour. You know David Gilmour?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like for those who don't know, David Gilmour is a lead guitarist of Pink Floyd, my favorite band. Anyways, he has, if you're trying to like replicate one of his solos, you know, he bends the guitar strings and like he is giving so much emotion into it, and I love that. It like connects with my heart, and I was like, I want to do that. And the way I've been starting was like just learning chords and just like strumming things, and you know, I know how to play a few songs and like dabble here and there, but I can't play a song, you know what I mean? And like if I was at a party, I wouldn't be able to jam. And, you know, it's like, but the thing is, I've only been playing for like 5 months, so I can't really expect much.
It definitely takes a certain point to like get to that level of confidence where
a lot of it's confidence too.
For sure, yeah.
And it's like just being willing to like play the wrong thing and then be like, okay, and then play another thing, maybe that's wrong, and then you just keep trying new things. And that's like, if once you're experienced enough, you know what the right sound would be, then you know, go with that. Do you with your band, do you guys have songs that you guys have written that you like know and you all perform well?
Yeah, I mean we all write songs like separately, I suppose, and then we'll come together and be like, I got this, or like we have an idea,
right?
And then maybe we'll have some lyrics or something, and then slowly once we work on the song, it'll evolve into something that like we all agree on.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily always the same. Like we'll extend songs live,
right?
And we'll cut them short, and we'll put an intro or have it go into another song.
And so you guys are like all at the musical ability to play around with the song,
right? We don't necessarily practice a song in a certain way.
Yeah.
But we just, you know, try and communicate on stage, and that just comes with like
experience and
practice. Playing with them a lot.
Yeah.
And not even like practicing like, if I wink at you, we'll speed up, or like,
really,
you know, we don't have like codes like that.
Yeah.
We just like, I don't know. Once you spend time with people playing music, you know, like each other's habits.
Right.
You can kind of feel the energy of where it's going.
See, that's like a part that I envy. Like, that seems like a emotion and like a level of awareness that's not really describable to other people unless you've done it.
Right.
But like, you have to learn how to fucking learn an instrument to figure out that experience. You know what I mean? Like, that is talent, hard work, and effort to then be able to communicate with other people. And that's like, that aspect of being able to like be on it seems like you guys are on a different wavelength than other people. Like,
I mean, that's like the pinnacle of music for me. Like,
and like, have you experienced that? Like, do you feel like you're at that level?
Yeah.
That's what like is cool. That's what I like pick up on. That's like what it makes me like, that's awesome. Yeah. Like,
when we have that, it's really special. And then, you know, some days we won't be on it. And
right. Oh, so you can
we're missing cues, and we're, you know, our endings are sloppy, or
right.
You know, we're.
But so you guys can all tell like that was a good night, or like that night was kind of trash, but like you guys
for
can
sure.
tell.
Especially like with the environment and the reaction.
Really. See, I would never know. Like, I would never like be able to.
Yeah, I mean, we don't ever show like we're having a terrible time, or like
right.
we're all playing like shit, because like to people like that, you know, everything sounds great, and if you don't act like you're, like if I played something and I was disappointed in myself and I like put my head down and looked all pissed off and like, what the fuck am I playing? Like, they could feel that energy.
Exactly.
But if I just kind of go on and then go into the next part of the song with a smile on my face, like, you know, they'll never know. So
that's like an important thing about life.
Yeah.
I mean, being able
to the art of faking it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's not in a way of like, oh, I'm gonna be like malicious and be someone I'm not. It's like, you gotta save face. You gotta keep it going. You know, that's definitely something that I've been aware of in band with, you know, like I'll squeak or something and then just keep going, like people will just forget. But if you stop and like you're like shit and like people see that, and then people will be like, oh, like he messed up, you know. But obviously it's just band in high school, you know what I mean?
I remember I went to a band concert at one school in Rhode Island. I had like a friend in the band. This is like a few years ago, and one girl like fell off the stage in the middle of the concert.
Wait, what instrument was she playing?
I think it was like like maybe a violin or something, but she just like was trying to walk off the stage. Like, we were walking off stage and fell, and like probably only 50% of the people saw it.
Yeah. Oh, but that's still,
because everyone else was just kind of like looking elsewhere, because it was on the side, so you could have missed it. But I was like right in front of her.
Right.
But she didn't say anything, and everyone just kept walking off.
Yeah.
So like half the people there never even knew it happened. So if I asked someone like, "Did you see that girl fall?" They're probably like, "No." Like,
and you're saying like that because everyone just like kept moving
right,
on.
because everyone didn't act like, "Oh my God, like this girl
Exactly.
fell." Like nobody realized that it
The
happened.
show must go on.
Right. So especially in a live performance, it's
Right.
super important to like.
Right, and that's I feel it's like an interesting like microcosm of like social like
Yeah.
norms. I don't know. It's interesting because yet again, like I don't know what it's like. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's very special to be able to be on stage, have the intention of everyone, and be able to like have the confidence to first off mess up, and then second off continue. Like that's like such a next level playing and next
Yeah.
level experience, which is so cool to me.
Definitely like experience. Like I remember first starting off playing music on stage, like we would practice like months in advance for the show and practice everything about
With
it.
your band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then or like that band but with a few different people. Like
Mhm.
it didn't evolve to this lineup quite, but we would practice so much, and then every time it would be like the practice didn't matter because like we would play things different on stage just because like, and we would try and like create this like muscle memory of like then we're gonna go to this song and then this song, and it didn't happen that way on stage.
Right.
So we kind of like realized that maybe that's not the best way to approach something.
Right.
And it's more like when we have a show, like we're having an organized jam, because like oddly enough we have practice tonight because we have a show on Saturday,
Really?
and we probably will just maybe jam a little, and then we'll practice a few songs, maybe new ones that we want to do,
Yeah.
and then we'll make a set list like the day before.
So like the songs that you're gonna play
Yeah.
next day. And so how long is each like jam session?
Kind of depends. I mean, we usually start off by like just jamming, and that could go, or we'll talk, and then we'll set up, and then we'll probably jam for like 45 minutes.
That's pretty
Or
good.
half
man.
an hour, just like making up stuff on the
Yeah.
spot, or like if I have something prepared, like ooh, I made this up, or
Right.
I wrote this kind of thing, and then we'll eventually be like, all right, let's work on this song because it wasn't as tight as we wanted it to be last.
Do you find like are you thinking to yourself when you're playing? Like, are your thoughts going in the back of your head? Like, you're like, oh, my homework isn't done. Like, oh, I gotta go. What's for dinner? You know what I mean? Like,
That's a good question. I mean,
or are you in a different place? You're just like focusing on the music, the tempo, like the groove, the rhythm.
it kind of depends. Like, I find myself daydreaming a lot when I play music, but not necessarily about like bad things or like homework.
Right.
Like, I'm thinking about good things, I suppose. But a lot of times I am thinking about the music and like
Yeah.
what I can do here, or how can we change.
Because I wonder,
this.
like, see, I meditate, and so I
Yep.
meditate in the morning and at
Oh,
night.
good for you.
Yeah, and it's like 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. So but sometimes it can be difficult because I'm trying to like relax and like make my brain like my whole thing is I tend to over question things and overthink things, and my brain just worries about things it shouldn't worry about, and so I meditate to be able to like build that muscle of recognizing my overthinking and then like kind of bring it back in.
Mm-hmm.
And but a lot of times I'll be like there like in my position, lotus position, you know what I mean? And I'll just be thinking about other stuff. I'll be like thinking about girls, I'll be thinking about podcasts, I'll be thinking about schoolwork, and so it's like sometimes I get into these modes where I'm not thinking about anything and I'm just like focusing on my breath and like the rhythm of my breath. And it's like the rhythm of music. Like, do you ever get like in these modes where it's just like
sure.
you're just focused in?
Yeah, I can get lost in music easily.
Exactly. That's what's really cool.
Yeah.
And that's like you can just tunnel vision, you know what I mean? It's like what flow state, you heard about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just like it's almost like nothing else matters except for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
It's very like just being in the present of what I am playing and what everyone else is playing. And sometimes I will be thinking about other things.
Right. I mean,
maybe
that's just
my
natural.
head is not in the right place
Right.
that day, or
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, music can be powerful in that sense of like, who knows? Maybe we're all thinking about the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like it's cool because the way we communicate and the way is through language. And here's a way. Hold on, we're communicating, but it's not through language,
Mm-hmm.
which is like whoa. that's brand new. That's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've never thought of music that way. This is the first time I'm thinking of it that way, but I mean, here I am talking to you right now because I love communicating. I love talking.
Yeah.
And it's like such a cool idea. Like, oh my God, it's like you're fluent in a different language, seems like. And
yeah, I mean, I always thought of music as a language too, and a lot of people will use that analogy, like the
I've never heard that. Really?
universal language. That's like
like I heard math as a universal language, but
right. And I kind of like now disagree with that because there's so much like different music in the world that we don't understand. Like
Eastern.
Like music? I understand Western music very well, I would say.
Eastern
and
music,
then
not so much.
If I travel to like Africa or even like Japan, where my family's from, like the standards there are totally different, and I wouldn't like.
Right. So
not saying that Western music hasn't traveled there, but
the idea that's universal,
right,
kind of is less true.
Yeah, it's a dangerous thing to assume that it is universal, and that gets into the whole like topic of music theory, and like this is the theory of music, and music theory was developed by European musicians.
So is there music theory in Eastern music?
Probably not, but it's not the music theory that we call. Like we call this music theory, but we don't like specify it as like Western music theory or European music theory.
But it should be called Western music theory.
Right, because it doesn't apply to like most parts of the world with music at all.
Whoa.
And like music theory has a ton of rules, which is why it doesn't apply to like any other place in the world, pretty much.
Makes sense to me who tries, and like I've play guitar. I know I know about the circle of fifths.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't. I was talking to Lane. Lane O'Connell is the school's bass clarinet player, and she's very talented, and she's going to school for music. Anyways, so she could like tell you, oh, what's from A to circle fifths up. She's like, oh, E, and she'll be like, from G backwards. She'll be like, B. I don't even know if that's accurate, but like, she'll, I'll tell her, oh, what note am I playing, and she'll be able to tell me, you're on that same level too, right? I'll play a note and you'll be able to hear it. You have perfect pitch too, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the. I was like, oh, Kyle has perfect pitch. I should have him on. But I mean, it's like that idea, like the music theory doesn't really click with me. I feel like I'm overthinking it, because it seems like music seems like a natural thing, and it seems like now when you have a theory, it's like makes it into very structured, like kind of like math. You know what I mean? Like, like you gotta do these things by these rules, and it doesn't make sense.
It can be very restricting, and I didn't grow up with music theory. Like for the first 10 years of my life, music was just like music, and I was just kind of like experimenting with what I thought it was.
You were playing music when you were 10?
I was playing music when I was like 2 and 3 years old with my dad.
Gosh.
But I was like, music was never like, here's this sheet of paper, now play this. It was like I would be listening to something, and then I could hear it in my head, and then I was learning the process of trying to like translate that into some instrument.
Right. So like, so your dad he played music.
Yep.
So that's where like you get your influence for music?
I would say, yeah. I mean, my mom loves music too. She sings a little, but she's not like a musician.
Right, by trade.
Yeah, and they were both kind of like, instead of giving me toy guns and stuff, they gave me things that made noise. Not necessarily instruments, but they would give me like a guitar.
Right.
And then they would give me like something that resembled a drum.
Yeah.
And I did have a drum set growing up.
Right.
And
no, I think it's like important when you're a kid. This is my dad and my sister rolling up. Anyways, like you have like a pot and pan with like, some like wooden spoons like bang on, and like kind of just make noise and experiment and like figure out like what you're making. Yeah,
I remember when I was in kindergarten, I got I think my parents got a call because when we would do like we would do like centers, and like you play with blocks, and I would always go to this station that had tin cans with like pencils in them.
Yeah.
And I'd dump all the pencils out and then set up a drum set and
play
really loud. And they were like, no, you can't do this.
They would call home for that.
And they like finally called my parents and were like, why does he keep doing this? And they were like, oh, because he plays drums at home.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's still on my diploma that they have somewhere. I haven't seen it in years, but
that's
it was like for his love of music during centers or something.
That's really like that's like beautiful. That's like so nice. That you have that, like it's part of your.
Have that.
Say that again.
I'm glad they have that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like part of your DNA in a way. Like, part of like the fabric of who you are is music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like such a consistent part of your growing up, you know what I mean? I don't know if I could say personally I have anything that has been with me since I was like 3 or, you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
and music is definitely
Yeah, I definitely don't remember it that well.
Well, I know, but like it's part of.
I still remember that feeling of like hearing music that I like. It's probably still the same feeling that I get, and it's like a feeling that I can't really describe, I guess, which is, I don't know.
I don't feel like we have or even know about the words to articulate the feeling. You know what I mean? It's that's the fucking thing about English language. That's the thing about me. I talk about communicating. Like I want to be able. I have family in Germany. Steinway is my German heritage right there, and my grandma and my uncle and my aunt, you know, don't speak a lick of English, and I don't speak a lick of German, and I want to be able to communicate with them. But I feel like, how am I supposed to be expected to learn a new language when I don't even I can't articulate my feelings in this language? You know what I mean? Like how am I ever going to succeed in that one? You know what I mean? But like, anyways, like the idea that this thing has been with you since you're a kid is really cool to me, and so many things. Like I was talking to Alex Ong last night, and like his thing since he was a kid was doing well in school. You know, like that was, it wasn't an option for him. Like he was just gonna do well because that's what it was for him. Yeah. And what's special about that is because it's been with him. Now he got a 1530 on the SAT. You know, and now he's gonna go to Brown and shit. You know what I mean? Like, and what happens with so many kids that like there's so many things that get in the way. You know, social things, school, drugs, you know what I mean? Things like that get in the way that hinder you from like reaching that dream. Yeah. And it's like it's like really like it's admirable to like look at Alex, look at you even, like wow, like these guys like have been doing what they like, what they love. I don't know if Alex loves doing school, honestly. I don't really know.
You have to ask him that.
Yeah, I mean for him it's less of an option. Right. It's like for you it's like actively love doing, like you would say you love music.
Oh, right? Yeah. It's never like a burden to go play music, or like I've never been told once in my life to go practice, or like.
That's awesome.
Because that's like how my dad grew up. It was like always go practice. And
right. Was that his like Japanese like influence?
Yeah, like his.
He grew up in Japan?
Yeah, he grew up there until he was like 10, and his mom is from Massachusetts, but his dad is full Japanese.
Really? Oh, so it's not like the traditional like full Japanese grew up in Japan. Like he still had some like American influence.
He came over here for school, and then met my grandmother. They went back to Japan. Okay. Had my dad and his sisters, and then eventually moved back here when he got another job. But yeah, I mean, my grandma still plays violin in a symphony in Boston.
Oh, so is your whole family musical?
Pretty much. As far as like we can trace back in that family, like they all play music.
The Takatas, right?
The Takatas, and then the Rabins, which is my grandma's side. And they like two musical families.
Yeah. What about your mom's side? Your mom's side?
My mom, not so much, but my grandfather sings in a choir, and he used to sing in a barbershop choir, which is really hard.
The barbershop, like the guy with like the pinstripes.
Yeah, they get a lot of like shit in media. And, like they don't get portrayed well, but it's really hard. It's, that stuff's impressive.
It's like synchronized swimming.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I mean, like my dad, like I said, my nuclear family, my siblings and I and my dad are musical, but my mom, no. Her side, no. My grandparents, no. You know what I mean? Like, it's basically just us. And, I mean, it's definitely been, like, a thing that we are aware that's important. And, I mean, what's interesting with you is, like, you've been playing soccer, too. Like, that's, like, it's, like, either sports or music for most people. And,
yeah, it was never a choice until now, I suppose.
But soccer?
Yeah, like, or sports and music was, like, I could always do both.
Right.
Until like I have to pay money to do one.
Well, okay, not saying that's a choice. Like you either do sports or you either do music. It's like generally a family like values music or values sports. And for us, it's always been music or artistic endeavors. You know, my sister is going to school for design. You know, product design and stuff like that. Like because it's graphic, artistic. You know, and like our family pushes that. And like. Has soccer been like a thing that you like? It's part of who you are, or is soccer just kind of just like a sport that you do?
I I mean, now it is, but I used to really like it growing up. And my dad is a big soccer fan, and it was always a way for me to be active. You know,
Right.
as much as my parents wanted me to pursue music, they didn't want me sitting inside all day and playing.
Exactly.
Like I needed some variation to my life, and like if that was the case, I would have had like no friends or
Oh yeah, man. See,
so
like,
I think they were happy that happened because like, there needs to be a balance in your life.
oh yeah.
For sure. And as a kid, I wasn't like force-fed music in my house alone. Like I grew up a normal childhood, but that was like a passion of mine. Whereas like someone likes guns or likes cars or something, you go through those phases as a kid.
Right.
I was going through like a Queen phase at like age 4.
Oh yeah, Queen. No,
so
I grew up with Queen. My dad loved Queen when he was a kid, so we always played it. But like, sports are so like I said, like people. Sports can be part of who you are, like your identity, and in high school, like social pressures and all this stuff, people be like, oh, playing tennis is dumb. I'm not gonna play tennis. You know what I mean? Like, like I don't like wrestling. People think it's lame. I'm not gonna do it. And what's really interesting that yet again there's another thing that stayed consistent throughout your entire like childhood.
Yeah.
Is there like a thing like have you ever thought like, oh, I fucking hate this, like this is not worth my time, like you've definitely come home late from soccer practice and like had to cram to get a quiz done and like went to bed after like 2 a.m, right? Like like, this shit sucks.
There's been a lot of that, like especially in music too. Like when I used to love playing classical piano, and then eventually, like when I got into high school, I was like Mr. Macho, like, oh, this shit sucks. Let me play like real music.
Right.
And I like quit on that, and then slowly I like started regaining that vocabulary again, and I still play classical music. Right. And that was the same with like all-state band and all that. Like there were a few years where I didn't do it because I was like
the social pressures and stuff.
Kind of, and I was like, I don't want to be in this group of
nerds or something.
Like I don't want to be around these music nerds, and I don't want to have to audition for this institutionalized like source of music. Like I had those weird like
like that's like perfectly natural growing up thought, you know what I mean? And what I'm realizing with this is a podcast, like a manifestation of like me getting over those fears and like being like there. I don't want to be that yet another podcast or yet another. Yeah. I don't want to be part of that, but I also do want to do it. I like doing it. I like talking to you right now, and I like being able to document it and upload it for people to listen to.
Yeah.
Like that is something that makes me happy, and if I didn't do it, it would make me not happy, and those are more important than me being scared of like what someone might say, whose opinion will say that, like. And that's just part of growing up, though. Mm-hmm. That like I'm at this stage now in senior year. Like I wish I figured it out freshman year, but you can't.
Yeah.
Like I needed to grow up. I needed that time, and like you need that time to like be like, oh, I'm not gonna play classical piano because like people don't like it. And then if it's really meant for you, and if it's really like something you love, you'll gravitate back towards it. And it seems like you have, right? Like it's come back around.
That's a good point too, because I feel like. For a while, like I was focused on like just doing things for like recognition, or,
right?
Like no one's gonna care if I make first chair in All-State.
Yeah.
Like I want to be a #1 artist, or like you know you have those like delusions of like,
oh yeah,
I just want to do this for recognition. And then I think like even recently I'm still realizing it, but like in like those forms of art, like this is art. This is a form of art. You're creating something. Like you have to be in almost like a selfish mindset when you're doing it. And like I'm doing this for myself. Yeah. And if people like it, that's great. But I think it's dangerous to like create things for people's like.
Yeah, no.
To, like,
this is what I'm dealing with. Dude, that's a great point because this is what I was. Let me make sure I'm still recording because this is a great point. Yes, we are. Cool. Okay, beauty. This is like what I'm dealing with right now. Like, I posted that like, the Macy podcast that I posted the other day was the third I've done, and like people like reached out like, damn, like that was really great, like I really appreciate it, and like other people are DMing me and stuff. Like I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. This is more than I ever expected, and this is exactly why like what I wanted from this, people to appreciate it and like reach out. But I also don't want to have like these delusions of, oh, I want to be rich and famous on YouTube. You know, I want to make $1 million and like have 1 million followers. I want to, you know, it's like, I don't want that to be clouding my initial creative excitement and my initial like passion for this, you know, and I can very easily like think myself down like a rabbit hole of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, you know, I'm just chasing clout and I just want people to recognize me. It's like I always come back like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, this is fun for me, and this is why like a kid reached out and it was like, I like that you're doing it because it makes you happy. Like, he literally said that, and I'm like,
that's
yeah,
really
man.
important.
Like, yeah, that's why. Like, I'm glad that you picked up on it. Thank you for saying that, because it means a lot. And it's very easy, like playing an instrument or anything in life, like creative. It's like we're surrounded by social media, where everyone that you look at has 1 million followers, and everyone that you look at is famous, and you know, it's like, I want that, you know, how come I don't do that? And you know, part of the process is like, you kind of like, part of the process, it would be, I feel like it's be unwise to not admit to yourself that like, part of this is like, let's see like how far this can go, like let's see if I can do something with this.
Right.
And part of like you playing, is it the same with you? Like, part of you playing music is like, maybe I can make something out of this, like,
yeah, I mean, there's always that, like,
or am I the only one?
What? Like, you always, like, say I read a song and then I record it and I have it for myself.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I want to release this because I hope people will like it. Like, it'd be awesome if, like, you know, then you become this, like, sensation.
Next Billie Eilish.
Right. And then you have that life of, like, being a celebrity. But, like, I don't know if anyone quite wants that. Like, I know I'm definitely not ready for that.
Right.
And I wouldn't really want that to happen to me. But I think, like, I've been more at peace with, like, the best recognition I can get is like having this for myself.
Oh yeah, man. That's
and then if I want to share it with people, like, I will. And then, you know, maybe, like, I think the coolest way to get recognition is like, people will like what you release no matter what you do, as long as like you like it.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll never happen in life, but
well, no, like,
that's still like the, you know, that's the wish of everyone.
Right. I mean, I look up to, because this whole like video editing and like making videos and like, you know, I'm making scripts for different videos, like meditation, like one of my videos, I'm 30 days of meditation for 30 minutes, you know, like that's one of my videos.
Yep.
And I'm halfway through right now, and like part of that is like, I look up to the, you know, Casey and Neistats, the you know, I could keep naming YouTube channels I look up to, and it's like, I can tell, the reason why I look up to these people is because I can tell they're doing what they like they're really enjoying making videos, and so you can tell like they're passionate about it, and you can so quickly pick up on that with the production value, the way they approach the story, and the way they treat like the viewer, and it's like that passion in the YouTube videos. That passion also, like when I'm listening to Jimi Hendrix, like you can just hear like this raw emotion, and it's like, oh my God, like this is inspirational. Like this, obviously he was only 27 when he died. Like obviously, it's so clear that he made a mark, such a big mark, because he was so passionate about it. And like, that's my thing. Like, I want to find something that I'm passionate about, and you know, pursue it. You know, like, and this is just me, like, figuring maybe this is what I'm passionate about right now. And it's a little like wacky because I already committed $350. You know what I mean? And now, like, if I don't like
not
it,
cheap.
yeah, if I don't like it in a month from now, I'll be like, well, fuck, I already spent $350 on it. But I mean, with that specific case, I don't know how to like make sense of that. But you know, I'll always, if I don't like it in 4 weeks from now, then I'll always have that thing, and it's probably gonna be useful. But I don't know, like, I do see this being an interest lasting longer than only 4 weeks. Like, I do, like, I do see that. I do resonate with this, like, idea of, like, me, like, interviewing people and making something out of this. But like I was discussing with Macy 2 weeks ago, like if you don't like something and you've like tried every like option, you know, you're confident that you don't like it, and your choice with that, move on.
Yeah.
You know, and that is like how you find passions in life. And my fear is to wake up 20 years from now, and I'll say this and I'll say it again. Wake up from now, like, with my, like, getting my tie on, driving my Nissan Altima to work to be an accountant at some big firm and, like, hating my boss.
Don't do that.
You know what I mean? Like, I fear that. That is a fear of mine. And what I realized is that I just have to, you know, I believe I won't have that because I will put myself in the position to get the things that I want, and I don't want that. So then that fear won't become a reality. You know, another reason why I'm doing this right now, this is me manifesting my own destiny. This is me fulfilling my own prophecy of I wanted to do it. So I woke up a little earlier than maybe I wanted to. I went to bed at like 3 a.m. so I wanted to sleep in. Like I got up, you know, so I could get prepared and get this whole setup.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't that big of a deal, but like, you know what I mean? Like I made it happen because it made sense for me. And you know, have you found like you make the music happen because it's just like it's never been a grind?
Well, it's for sure been a grind, and even though like I was talented at a young age, like I had to work and earn everything that I have right now. And it was like there's times where like you have to sacrifice things to get an outcome. Like
well,
I don't want to stay up all night and keep writing this song for this, but I will because, you know, I personally want that gratification of like I did this, and not necessarily because like, you know, I agreed to write this for someone or I agreed to make this for this college or something like that. It's more like I'm going to do this because I told myself I would do it.
Right.
Not because I told the college I would do it, because I told myself I would do it. So I'm going to finish it. And even if like they don't like it,
it's like
I still have that pleasure of like I did that.
And what I'm realizing is that being aware of what you want and doing it for yourself, if that is true, because a lot of times it can be like clouded by it, but if that is true, anything you do, any result you get from what you did, you will know it was the true result because their intentions were right. If you pursue a girl and you know, go out on a date and you're acting just how you are, like if you're acting the real you and she says no, it's like, well, it wasn't meant to be then, you know?
Yeah.
And you move on. But if you're with that girl and you're trying to laugh at her jokes that aren't funny and you're trying to, you know, say this and that and act this way, and then she likes that, she doesn't like the real you. Same things goes with the music. If you make a piece of music that you don't like just to please someone else and they like it, then they don't like actually what you are passionate about. And
yeah, that's a really good point.
Right. And that's what I'm finding. Like, I'm trying to make videos that I would watch because my entire life I've been watching YouTube and I've always wanted to do it. And, you know, it's like a dream of mine. And it's not about, I'll talk to my therapist and I'll tell him my concerns of like how I don't want to be like, have these delusions of fame and fortune. Like I don't want that to be what gets in the way. And I'm scared of that. Like I really am scared of that. Because it's like can just override the whole creative process and it can become this, you know, sinister like thing when it's just the initial creativity and excitement. Anyway, so he asked me like, who are you doing it for? You know, without it skipping a heart, I was like, me. I'm doing it for me. You know, and I think people can resonate with that. You know, that message of like doing something for yourself. And I feel like not enough kids around us do things for themselves right now.
No. And I mean, going back to music, like one of the problems I have with artists today is like they create music just to get on the radio, or like Drake writes a song for TikTok.
Yeah.
Like what's going to happen in 20 years when TikTok doesn't exist?
Exactly.
Is he going to go back to doing like compare his music? Like I don't love Drake, but comparing his old music to what he's making now is like you can just see that he is like completely following like the trends of what music is today. And I don't think there's necessarily a problem with that, but like for my liking. Like, I like when people create music and you can feel that it's like personal to them.
True.
Like, this is what I want, not what the radio wants, but this is what I want.
You ever listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan?
Yep.
It's like, oh my God. It's like,
and like he was playing blues in the 80s when you know, people were listening to Michael Jackson.
Right.
So
he liked it.
Right. And it wasn't like he was the biggest artist back then. Like I think after he, like when artists die, there's like a certain like
Pop Smoke
glorification they have after they die. Like they become way more popular. Like there's just so many examples, but
become like angels.
Yeah.
Guitar gods.
They do. They become like worshipped.
Right.
And their music becomes more powerful, I guess, because there will be no more of it.
Yeah, I listen to Mac Miller and it's like, I've been listening to Mac Miller the past few weeks and I'm like, damn, this is good. I
can't say I loved his music while he was alive.
Right. I don't. Maybe if I was 17 when he was alive and I was listening to his music, you know, I was like 12 when he was making. You know, it's like I can't. He was like making music for kids that smoke pot. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't when I was 12, so like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like you can. That same thing that I pick up with Mac Miller's music is also like, and he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Is also the same like his passion, and I can pick up that. I pick up on that with Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, A$AP Rocky. Like A$AP Rocky, and you know these guys. A$AP Rocky is the one guy who's alive still. You know what I mean? And I pick up on the passion, and this you know it's. I'm kind of going off track of like the idolization and worshiping of these people after they died, but like A$AP Rocky, I still like he has something special, and you know you can tell it comes from such a creative place, and he's not doing it for anybody else. And
he doesn't have these like chart-topping hits most of the time. You know, he's popular, but
I mean he's successful. You know, Stevie Ray Vaughan was successful. Jimi Hendrix was, you know, like these guys were financially successful.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to worry about that.
And there's a reason why people that create music for themselves are successful.
Yeah, and that's what. So this is like the big thing. Like, I want to do this YouTube thing because I want to. And there's a very clear, like, you look around in the YouTube space, like, look at all these people that are famous and financially successful. I think there's a difference between happiness, success, and financial success. And no matter what, like, 2 weeks from now, I hate doing this, and I don't ever want to do it again. Like, if I just pursue the things that make me happy and, like, I'm passionate about those, I feel like the financial success will come after that. You know what I mean? And it will take care of itself. And that's what I've, like, all the inspirations in my life, you know, social media people, musicians, videographer, you know, anybody, family members, family friends. If you pick up on the things that they're like passionate about and they've like followed that passion and done the most and, you know, squeezed the financial support will come.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. Like that's amazing that the life will provide that for you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just really easy to get like bogged down by what you're doing. Like, let's say you're making music for like 4 years and you're still doing gigs, you know, it's super easy to be like, this will never succeed.
Yeah.
But with that mindset, it will not, because then you will not put yourself in a position.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
That's another thing. Like, people will try for so long, and then they'll give up. And it's like, what if you just put a couple more years in? You know what I mean? Your lucky break would have come.
I think to a point,
you'll never know if you don't forget, if you give up.
Yeah, like when people are trying for that long too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that go down that road are like stubborn to change what they're doing too. Maybe even their process of creating music, because you don't want to like change your sound until people don't want to listen to it anymore. But I think there's a fine line between like making music to get on the radio and making music that's more accessible for people.
And making music for yourself.
Right. And say like I'm into like wonky time signatures and like it doesn't sound like Western music at all. And I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like there's to a certain extent, like if I want people here to listen to my music, I need to make it more accessible for people where like they can enjoy this. And maybe it's a little less complex, maybe. Because like I used to be into really complicated music, some of it. And like I think
no one would listen to it because it was like what?
Right. If I like I was like the sole like listener of it, because it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
And I think there's like a fine line of making music to get on the radio with trends, and then making music that's more accessible,
Right.
like with less chord changes and
you think there's a difference
tempo
between so that's a great point, because if you try to like switch like what you're doing, change what you're doing, it can be like, oh, you're a sellout. But it's like, well, I'm just trying to make it a little bit more accessible.
And that's still you, like
right.
That's still your music. Not all your music has to be complicated. Like
right.
my music doesn't sound the same because maybe I'm in a different mood when I wrote this song.
Yeah.
Or like, there should be variation in your music, and just because it doesn't sound like this complicated song doesn't mean like I'm trying to get on the radio.
Right.
Maybe it means I'm into this now. Like, you will change. And if you hear artists like from when they started to now, like you'll hear the evolution of what they're into.
Right. And I'm sure like there's a big YouTuber I like, and one of the inspirations for me, inspiration is a buzzword for tonight, but like he just turned 22 and he has like 750,000 subscribers, and he makes like a teacher's salary, and he's 22, like, and he's like talks openly about all this, because like he started making YouTube videos when he was like 15, and I'm like, shit, like I'm 17. Like if I want that, like I gotta start now.
Yeah, at least you're not 20 or like 25.
Or
you're
like
still young.
People are like, I know so many people around me that like are young, but you can tell like they're just like this thing I've realized. Mentality. Macy and I were talking about this, and over the summer, so many things had to happen for me to realize. But like, if you believe, like truly believe in your ability to succeed and achieve what you want, it almost feels like you're like unstoppable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Does that make sense? Because I feel like a lot of people are like, Jonah, you're a fucking arrogant like cunt. Like, why are you saying this shit? Like, it's like, if you believe in yourself, no one else will believe in you. You got to be the one doing it.
Yeah.
So you might as well believe in yourself 100%. You know what I mean? And it's really difficult for me to listen to people that say like, oh, I don't have a passion. Like, I really, oh, I don't like anything. And it's like, I'm sure that's not true. And I'm sure there's something that they really love, but they're just not admitting to themselves because they're scared of like what other people might think. And it's like, I could be scared of what, and you can hear that mouse over there, or chipmunk. Anyways, like I could be scared of what people might say about this. You could be scared of what people might say about your music, but once again, like, it's gotta be you who's making it, and you gotta be proud and 100% there, because only by believing in it, it seems, then you will succeed.
Yeah, like if I was making music and I was like the number one artist in the world, but I hated my music, I wouldn't make music anymore. Even with like all that success and fame, and like if I wasn't pleased with what I was putting out, I wouldn't put it out. I wouldn't even write it.
Because it's got to be you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when people like have ghostwriters and they don't write their music,
it seems like that's not the point, dude.
Yeah, I can't see how they're like at peace with like, this wasn't my idea, or like, I just like someone put words in my mouth and I just said it.
It's like what?
I wouldn't feel okay with like my name being put on that.
Exactly.
Like if I put my name with the person that wrote the song, like, okay.
I think it has to do with being able to separate yourself from the like moral reasons of it, and also wanting to just get money. Like, Madison Beer, like she's like the most sexy person ever, and she makes music, but she doesn't write any of her music, like at all, or produce any of it. She is just like the face of the music and sings. And it's like, I'm sure she has been like, oh, I wish I could do this, but like, hey, I'm like famous and I have a lot of money, so this is not that bad. So and then she just was like, okay.
People can make that choice, and I don't necessarily like have anything wrong with that. Like if that works for them, that works for them.
Right. It's like, it's not hurting anybody else. You know what I mean?
But for me, it's like I need that sense of like, I did this.
Right.
Individuality, like.
Yeah. And that's like something like that motivation and that like excitement, like get at it. Like it's like, okay, I talk about this hustle porn on the social media. I follow like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, for example. Like, he posts like him getting up at 6 a.m. like getting in the gym and shit like that. I follow bajillion Joe Rogan. There's a guy David Goggins. Like, it's like these guys are like, get up, get going. Let's go. And it's called hustle porn because it's like these guys are like idolized and they're all like financially successful. And the common link is that they get up at 6 a.m. They grind at what they're doing and they hustle. And I kind of want that for myself. Like, I kind of want to be the one who like fucking hurts because I go so hard. Because I like feel like that's like part of the package of like success, and part of the package like in success again is financial happiness. It's all the same thing. Success is just the best word to explain.
Yeah.
But like I want to be the one going after it, and this idea that there's a Madison Beer who's out here not really doing it. She's just singing and sings the words. It's like it seems like part of the living. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to live my fullest life. Like, that seems like she's not really living her fullest life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't like practice music as much as other people do, I would say, that are really into it. And I know like a bunch of people that practice for 8 hours a day, and they're probably better at this instrument than I am. And I've tried to practice a lot, and I just realized that like that doesn't necessarily work for me. And the only reason I'm able to keep progressing is because I set goals for myself. Like I say, I want to achieve this by this, and then I do whatever it takes to get myself to that point by that time. Like there's no exceptions.
Really? And it's like that self-discipline that is natural to
right.
you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I would just like, I would feel so like let down if I didn't achieve that goal that I set myself. Like if someone else is like, I need you to learn this by this, and I don't, like I wouldn't feel nearly as bad as I.
It's like a certain amount of like self-respect that you have for yourself.
Goal. Yes.
And I mean that's a very valid point. This idea like hustle and everything. Like, okay, I don't work 12 hours a day on my creative endeavors. I don't. But this idea, this is what like excites me, like this idea, and like that's what kind of excites me and works for me. But for you, for anybody else, I mean, maybe like I don't want. There's this guy David Goggins I've mentioned. Like he, ultra marathon runner, Navy SEAL guy. Runs so much that his like builds up like pus in his knees and has to get like drained and shit. Like
man.
He's gonna like destroy his body, and he's just not even concerned about it because like he's like, I want this now. And like that level, I low key think it's crazy, and he knows that, and like that's what he feeds off of. Like people think he's crazy, and he goes harder. But like for me, it's like nope, I'm good with that, But I do feel like I don't have enough. I don't challenge myself enough, and I don't have that self-discipline where I have like these goals I set myself. Like if I don't achieve them, it's because I really need to sleep. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's usually what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Man, fuck. Like sleep is so important to me, and like that's the number one thing that gets in the way of my time. But like, I guess that's like amount of self-respect. Like, are you born with that? Like, being able to discipline yourself?
I guess like over time I developed it, but I also realized like if I don't achieve this goal, like I've kind of think about like why didn't I, and then how can I improve myself so next time I can achieve this goal. I think a lot about.
That's very like introspective.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Yeah, I like to think like how could I be more productive using this, or do I need to buy something to become more productive, or do I need to learn something to become more productive? And like even like the way I practice, and this is not only me, like I've had teachers that have talked to me about stuff like this, and like you can change the way you practice, and you can change the way you create music, and all of that to find like what works for you. That's really important.
So that's what like this whole process of me making these videos and everything, if something sucks, I want to figure out how to change it and to make it not suck. Because the ultimate goal for me is important, which is like I want to, like a little dream of mine is like have 15 interviews done by the end of the year. I think I'm on track for that. I think I can do that. And like, but I've never like have sat down with myself like I want this by the end. I just said like, oh, like when I was walking to class, like, oh, that'd be nice, and then like go on to class and take notes there. You know what I mean? Like, it's never been this like mental thing like I need this now. Like, is that like how you're saying? Like you sit down in a chair and you're like, I want this song done by this date, or is it more of like when that idea pops in your brain, you're like, okay, yeah, I need to jump on that. Like I need to.
Yeah, that's an interesting question because I often like sometimes I'll write a song start to finish really fast, and that's just how it happens. And sometimes it happens that way. And then if I'm happy with what I have, I'll say, all right, I want this project to be done by then. And since I'm content with everything I have, that's all right with me. But if I have a project where it's like I have this part and then maybe this part and I'm still searching for like a hook, or I'm still searching for some melodies, or like if I'm still searching for something, like it's not there yet, I don't want to set that goal on myself because I'll like conclude on something that I don't like.
Yeah.
Like if I'm like I need to have this song done by Sunday, but I don't have a chorus yet, I'll try and write a chorus as fast as I can so I can get it to sound as good as I can, but maybe that's like not quite what I want.
And will you be happy with the end product, or will you like give yourself?
Yeah, of course, but maybe I'll, I often go back into my projects and scrap things that I don't like.
Yeah. Do you feel like it would be beneficial if you had more time to then make those projects like, the real deal, and like finish them up and polish them to your exact preference?
Yes, but no, because I think like imperfection in music is good sometimes.
Yeah,
and
I
like,
definitely, yeah.
I don't know. I think if I spent like 5 years working on an album, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
But then I've only done that one album in 5 years.
Right.
So it's like that's the price you pay. Like there's some artists that, they'll go off the map for like 10 years and then they'll release this colossal album and everyone goes crazy. But by the time he's released that album, you have these 20-year-old kids that have put out like 15 albums.
Yeah.
And they write a song every day. And they're at the top of the charts because they have so much music.
Right. And that's like
that's the decision you have to make when you're writing music.
Yeah. And once again, it's music, but it goes with every creative endeavor. Yep. It's this is what's exciting about doing things for yourself. Is
and maybe that person who spends 10 years making an album doesn't want to spend 10 years, but they want it to be perfect, so in result of that it takes them a while.
Yeah. And there's a lot to be said about, I could sit on a video, oh my god, if I wanted this to be like everything I ever wanted it to be, I would be sitting on it for way too long. And part of it, like if you even watched one of my clips, like my short clips I did for the video, like I misspelt, like at the end of the video I have like the like if you didn't, dislike if you didn't. And I misspelt dislike. And for all three of them I misspelt it, and that was because I wasn't even aware of, like I was just trying to get it done. Because for me right now at this stage of like the process is I'm just trying to get things done rather than get bogged down by anything. Like make it out. I just want it out. Like I like that is what will make me happy right now. And to prove to myself that I can make something, and then I can work on maybe making this a little bit better and like do this, because I also don't want to make something that's bad, but like I know, and I have spent way too much time editing a video just to have this camera frame just like this. It's like too much time, not efficient, makes me not happy, and I still don't have the video uploaded. And like that's like the battle. Like I want to make something that's good because I want to be proud of it. And these podcasts are kind of tricky because all I do is like maybe edit out like a name here and there. It's good. It's really boring. I literally watched the whole podcast over again. But like I it's not much I can do. I can't like add graphics like, you know, like, oh, like look at this, you know. It's like there's not much you can do with the podcast because it's a conversation, you know. It's real, and it's like I don't want to.
You want that to be pure. You don't want to like, you know those videos where it's like edit. It's like some guy vlogging and then it jump cuts like, and it's like, well, that's not what he said at all. You just like took a sentence and like chopped it up a bunch.
I mean,
like that.
To be fair, like that's like
that's
I'm
a
gonna
skill
make
for sure.
Yeah. To be fair, like I probably will make a video that's all jump cuts, so I don't want to trash that. But like, with a conversation,
you don't want it to.
Okay,
be like
conversation is a different animal because that is like every single moment is important because one thought jumps to the next, and it's like how like if you miss out, if you cut out like a 2-minute thing, it's like, wait, what the hell? How'd you get there? Like I just missed so much, and this is why I don't plan on editing my videos unless like there's someone coughing in the background and I can just chop that out. Like no one wants to listen to that. But like if there's something being said, the entire conversation, that entire point is important, and that's why I will continue to upload my entire podcasts. I'm debating because I still haven't uploaded my grandpa one, but like, you know, I was talking about really like deeply personal things with my grandpa, and he was like, this is probably not, like he said like while I was interviewing, like this is probably not something you want to upload. And I was like realizing, oh snap, like now I have to go through and like edit this out and do this. And part of me like hurts because like I want to post the full real thing, you know, so people have the full unedited. But there's also a fine line that you got to respect, like personal things. I don't want to say something that someone else will pick. It's like, I have to edit that out, and that's like the nitty gritty. But the idea of like keeping it pure is hard for me, like, because I want to make it the best I can and everything. But that's just experience, and that's what you have. Like you push yourself to just put it out and put the music out, because then you have a product to then look back on and be like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I can improve, and like that's what I think is important, making something.
Like in terms of editing, like I could spend like months mixing a song. Mixing meaning like, for those who don't know, like taking everything I've done and then adjusting the levels so everything fits perfectly or just the way I want it to. And I realized like after doing that, like, you know, you have to try it to see if it works. So I would mix for months and months and have this song. And then I realized like I don't listen for that in music. Even though I'm like super into engineering and mixing, I'm not like, oh, listen to this mix. I'm like, listen to this song. So it's more about like the substance rather than like editing. Like, you know, if you have a good interview, like your job's done. Like you know what I mean? If I have a good performance, if I have a good guitar take, I don't have to go in and edit every wrong note or. So it's important to focus on the bigger picture, I think.
Right.
And even like the music that I'll make alone is like a bunch of editing because it's all me and on different days. Rather than like a live recording, like you can hear the mood is so much different in a live recording, but most people won't pick up on that. That's just like my personal opinion, but
I mean, it's like you could be your greatest like critic, you know what I mean? And it's to the detriment of the creative process. And that's like a thing, like I have to be like, Jonah, you gotta shut up right now. You gotta just do the video and then put it out. You know, then you can be angry at, or like then you could be nitty gritty. Like
you gotta learn like what people want. From that and not like go overboard with it because like people won't care if you edit this part really. It'll be like you care more, and people won't care if my kick and bass don't match like I want them, but I'll care. So that's like the whole time management thing that you have to consider for sure. Like, do I want to go back and watch this whole podcast to take out like this person coughing? Like, is that worth it, or will people even care? You know what I mean?
And like the entire Macy one, I was 2.5 hours, and I did scrub through. I do at 2 times speed, but still an hour of it literally was of listening at 2 times speed for any names, and like, you know, probably cut out like 40 name drops. But it's like I talk about like, you know, personal relationships with people that like people at school would know, and like people are like, whoa, what are you talking about these people for? And so, you know, I just take out the names so people don't here. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times I will talk about like sensitive, like actual like personal school things that people would know and then be like, yo, what the fuck? So I will have to like take that out, but I mean, that's a whole fucking process, but like it harkens back to like, I don't, the time management one, but it's like I don't want to ruin the creative process. That's like, and I feel like I'm much less experienced in the production of it all. That like you are at a point where you're like, oh, I need to do this for this reason, like, and you're like, that's what you need to do because you're so experienced. But like right now, I'm at the beginning, and I'm still trying to like decipher like, oh, is this the creative process or is this like me just trying to save time because I just want to get it out because I want to get views as quickly as it's like, it's very difficult if you think about it too much. And a lot of times I'm like, it's like that meditative, like just bring it back in, reel it back in. But it seems like you're on a different like timeline because you're ahead of the game. Like you need to create stuff.
I like to think I am, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, it's not arrogant to like. That's the thing. Like, I would say I'm more mature than most people, and I was discussing with Alex on last night. Like, that was for the longest time I couldn't admit that to myself because I didn't want to be arrogant. But the thing is, you are then like lying to yourself and not like, appreciating a good quality about yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, I would say who do I know that makes music regularly and like passionate about it? And like, I don't know anybody. You're the only. This is why I'm interviewing right now. I don't know anybody else. So I have Takata on. You know what I mean? Like that, and that you should be proud of that and like be able to appreciate that in yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole, should, and then like, will it really? Like, but from an objective view here, just being like you're making music. That's fucking awesome. Like, I'm not saying it for anything, just because you need to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think people don't appreciate the things that they got a lot of times, and it's like sad. A lot of times it's sad. It's like people that are like really beautiful don't realize, and not as confident as you think they should be. It's like this and that, and it's like, well, I can't control them and things, but like they should know.
I mean, I'm definitely proud of everything I do personally, but I think there's like a certain extent where like publicly you can't be like the look at me guy.
Yeah.
Or, like I hate that person, so I always like make sure I'm not that person of like, look at me, you want to hear this song? Like let me play this instrument for you.
Right.
Like music was never that for me, so I don't want to make it that for other people. Like I never liked someone that would like play really loudly next to you in Guitar Center that like can't really play their guitar.
Yeah, no, like
because they're not doing it for them, they're doing it for you. So but yeah, I appreciate your compliments.
Yeah, hey, yeah, man. And that's another thing, being able to appreciate people's compliments is something I'm growing on too. Like I gotta work at that too. Like
you get your phrases. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
I've been like doing this podcast for only a couple weeks now, and people have been coming up to me like, that's really cool. And it's like, it would be like, I don't want to be arrogant, so I just don't say anything. Like, that's the wrong move. You got to appreciate what people say, and it takes another level of maturity.
Yeah.
It's like,
I often I'll turn into a robot when I get compliments, and I always like try and get myself out of that because like I will hear the same compliments over and over again, but like they won't hear my music over and over again.
Yeah.
I realize like there's a different level of like connection there, so I can't just be like, oh, thank you. Like he just told me the same thing you said.
Yeah.
But it's more like they both heard my music for the first time. So like I always like remind myself of how grateful I am.
Yeah.
Even though like, cause like sometimes I get overwhelmed with compliments too. Like I'm.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
like that, like, but it's an interesting, like it's still a problem. You know what I mean? It's still a thing that you have to deal with, like being overwhelmed with it and like being able to cope with it.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I hate when I turn into that like robotic, like where I respond with something that's like totally not me and not
or
from
charming
my heart.
or like,
yeah.
Well, the fact that you're being aware of it is a good point, and if you analyze it in that way, like, oh, I don't want to be this, going back to mentality, then you'll start to put yourself in the position to not be that robot, and it just comes from like awareness, and it sounds like you have that already. That's the thing that you need to learn, and once you got that, then everything else will follow.
I used to be really shy when I was growing up too. Like I remember leaving like recitals and concerts like as fast as I could because I didn't want to like talk to anyone afterwards or like receive compliments. Isn't that crazy? Like I didn't want to hear like myself being praised because I don't know, I was very shy, and I guess maybe because I was already like the biggest compliment I had was like I was proud of my performance.
Damn, bro, your self-respect is like.
So I was like,
I don't respect myself like that. Like,
I don't know if that was the case, but this is when I was younger, and
but that's awesome. Yeah, no.
I would like run out with my parents, and I'd maybe like one person would stop me and talk, and like I've slowly realized that like I do cherish those moments of like communicating with people that are enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know, it's really special now, and I definitely used to take it for granted. I didn't take it at all. I would just run out the back door.
And it's like,
I would leave.
It's really like outsourcing. Like people are like providing little boosts of confidence and happiness for you. That's what it is. And when you recognize it as that, it's like, oh my God, I like people like this. It makes it so much easier to continue doing it. And I mean that's just part of growing up. Still, like I was like, you're growing up, and it makes sense that you were uncomfortable with it, and it also is good on you for trying to realize and appreciate it more now. Like that's an important thing to appreciate, and that's an important thing to be aware of and recognize.
Yep.
Not enough people. I've been hanging out with more people recently and like talking to more people in our grade, and I don't feel like enough people realize what they have, like how good looking they are, or how smart they are, how naturally athletic they, anything. And it's like this is something that would build confidence in me, and this is what you're the person that would be confident, and you're not. Like, don't you realize what you got?
I think self-doubt is at an all-time high at this moment in society.
Oh yeah. And
like because with social media there's like everyone's just one-upping each other. Like you'll always see someone that's better than you, I guess. And that just brings you straight down. So like, I don't know. It's important not to let that take over your life too. And
self-doubt is an all-time high, man. I love that. That is so true. And it's like toxic to be around, because I want to be around people that are happy about themselves, because then I'll be happy about myself, and then we're all happy. And then it's like, hey, we're all happy. Okay, cool. It's like, and then we can from that point move on to do what we want to do. And like right now, like at school, like everyone's like just worrying about like, oh, what did that kid say? Is he worrying about what shirt I'm wearing? Like, oh, is he like? It's like, bro, everyone is caught up with themselves, and no one is paying attention to you. You gotta do what makes you happy, because that's the only thing that's important to you.
Yeah, it's weird too now, because like being original is almost like you get like blasted for being original, or maybe like some people would call it different. Like if I like a different style of music, like you just like get thrown under the bus and like, oh, how come you don't like this? And it's weird because I feel like that's changed. I feel like it was cool to be like to like something different than what everyone else is, and that's what like I don't know, a lot of artists that like kids like are like different than what anyone else is. Like Frank Ocean and Tyler the Creator, like all of these people are like now obsessed with these people just because they're original. Yeah, but yet in society, like people that are doing things that are original aren't always like cherished like that.
I think subconsciously people, okay, what I'm going to say is that people are picking up on that, on their creativity and them doing just what they want. But the thing is, like that, if you told me that, that's why I like Frank Ocean or that's why I like Tyler Creator, like I would be like, no, like I just like their music. But there is a level of me loving Travis Scott. It is like he like wears whatever he wants and it's like crazy clothing and he like pushes the agenda of what's cool. And like Tyler the Creator, like he just says what he acts how he wants. And like even fucking Harry Styles, my sister's obsessed with Harry Styles and like she like wants to marry him, you know what I mean? But like she was showing me pictures of him and I'm like, yo, like he was like wearing like a dress or something, but he was like he looked like he was owning it. Like he was like, that's a boss right there. Like he had swag.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he had swagger, and like it's because he was happy, like wearing like he was wearing like a fucking dress, but it's like, yo, I admire that confidence, and I admire that like being able to be like proud, and that is so rare nowadays, it seems.
Yeah.
That just being confident in what you're doing is so special. Whatever it is.
Confidence is like super powerful.
Yeah, like
and I've
literally
only
whatever
realized
it is.
that now. Like
you could literally be obsessed with like trucks. I hate fucking like people are obsessed with trucks and like putting like crazy engines in them, and it's the same people that have like Trump flags hanging off of them.
Oh
but
yeah.
Yeah, but like I think that's the stupidest thing. But if you truly love that for yourself, it's not like, oh, my friend's whole thing is cool, so I'm gonna do it. Like if you love that, I respect that.
Yeah.
I keep doing that, man. Like I don't fucking like it, but if you like it, keep doing it. Like, that's awesome for you. And like this is what is so, and that's why we're all so different. Everyone has to like fulfill some sort of like niche, and it's like I feel like people don't embrace that, and it comes back to like them being like, oh, like the mentality is like, oh, I would never succeed if I ever did that. And it's like with that mentality, you won't succeed. Like
yeah,
if
you
believe
gotta
in
try,
it,
man.
and it's like we're surrounded by like these your parents being like, oh, like, no, you shouldn't do that, you should become a lawyer, you know what I mean? Like everyone's like, oh yeah, that'd be great if I were a lawyer. And people like idolize these things. They separate their original excitement and like passion for something, they separate that and start believing in this like fake passion that someone else like propped up for themselves. And that's also like a fear of mine, is like doing something because someone else like thought it would be great, and then I was like delusional and thought that was what I wanted to. Like I so clearly want to do what I want for myself, you know what I mean? Like I just want to start it right away, and you know what I mean? Like this is that.
Yeah, you get on that like creative high.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, when I upload a video, holy shit, it's like holy fuck. Like I'm realizing like when I press that upload button, it's like, dude, it's like the best feeling.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah,
like,
I'm glad you know that feeling too, because not everyone knows that, and it's like, even when I'm
you're right.
even when I'm creating something, like, you should see my room or like the my studio. Like, it's a mess. There's things everywhere, but I'm like
in it.
I'm so like
Flow
in my
state.
element, and like just you just kind of like lose yourself, and
then once you finally like that, because the YouTube makes it, I'll say they like make it visually so it's the maximized dopamine, but like it has a little bar going and it says uploaded with a little cha-ching mark,
and then it disappears from your feed and you have to refresh it. Does that happen to you?
Well, on YouTube, like it will be like stuck at 0% processing for me for like, because it's 2 hours, so obviously it's massive.
Yeah.
And so that's what for me it's like it's like, why won't it load?
If I do stuff on my phone, it'll
disappear.
It'll say it uploaded and then processing, and then it'll like disappear.
That sounds like something that would give me a heart attack.
And then it'll go away, and I'll just keep refreshing it for like a minute, and then it'll say like uploaded a minute ago.
Yeah, that sounds like a heart attack experience right there.
And I'm uploading like minute clips for like teachers to see, or like
yeah. I mean, still
I'm
like,
not uploading hours and hours of footage.
Right. But, I mean, but that like when I finally finish a video, I mean, this is me procrastinating on my college essay, Common App stuff. Like I still have math for Mr. Abernethy. You know what I mean? Like, it's like this is me procrastinating. But when I do finish this and when I do upload, like the past few times I've uploaded, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, man.
Like,
that's why humans do this.
Yo, that's right.
That's right. It's that feeling, and I think there needs to be a word for it. Maybe there is, but
yo.
If anyone
you gotta
knows
come
that
up with the word. Okay, that word when you experience something that you tried so hard for and then you finally got it done.
It's like extreme gratification.
You know,
we need a one-word
I was
phrase
listening to Joe Rogan podcast, and him and this other guy were talking about how, like, him and whoever he's interviewing are both financially successful and just living their best life. You know what I mean? They're living the dream. And they're talking about like, they're like, there should be a word for like when you're doing work but you really love it and it's not like work. Like there should be a word for that. And they're like, Joe was like, yeah, like what the fuck? Like how is there not a word for that? And I was like, yeah, there should be a word. And I was going through the comments and someone was like, there is a word and it's called life. And I was like, yo, that's deep. You know, it's like they're just living life.
Yeah.
And so this word of like kind of doing like seeking something for that feeling. It's kind of just living life, you know what I mean? I'm living like my best life, and that's like this is the way I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, I guess you subconsciously seek that feeling too.
Yeah, I mean,
like everyone does. Like that's why you will start something. Like
anything.
Maybe that's why you started this. Like you're subconsciously seeking that feeling of like self-gratitude or whatever that word is.
Yeah, dude. We got it like see in Germany, because my mom born and raised in Germany, so I have that influence.
Yep.
In Germany, they have so many more words, so they can convey their feelings in a better way. And they can also just smash words together, and now it's a word, and it's just like appropriate and socially acceptable. But it's like I wish we could like make words. If it sounds like it makes sense.
There's a lot of issues I have with the English language.
Yeah, dude. Do you ever heard about Elon Musk's Neuralink? Do you hear about that?
No.
Okay, like this is part of my thing. Like I'll probably still go to college for something else. Like I'm not gonna go to school for film. Even this is like a cool thing, and people would go to film school. Like this passion and my experiences by just doing it my own will be more than film school would ever provide. I'm sure. But Neuralink is this chip that Elon Musk is developing, and it's like bionics, the first human bionics of our generation, of human history. And you put a little 1 inch, square inch in your skull, and you replace it with this chip that like plugs into your brain with the electrodes.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like
it's wild.
insane. And it has like internet connection. I mean,
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, but the first iteration is like for paraplegics, so they like regain it, like their brain signals can then communicate with the chip and then communicate with like a prosthetic, and like we're at that level. Like the next like 5-10 years, we will be there. And then like think about it, like 20 years after that. In 20 years from now, people will be walking around that were paraplegics, you know, and like be mobile, you know. And then 50 years from now, with this chip, it will then evolve into you can communicate thoughts with your brain over the internet without talking, so you can convey some abstract idea, like this feeling of gratification and excitement when you finish a video or finish a song. You can then convey that without the language, and you can convey the feeling and communicate that to someone.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's like, and this is real, people, and this is exciting, and this is what I want to do for an actual job, like for real life job.
I hope I'll experience that in my lifetime, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it'd be cool.
This is like one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast now, is because like we're in a COVID history, all this. I love history. I interviewed my grandpa because he's a piece of history, 90.
Yeah.
And I told that to him. I literally was like, "You're a living piece of history," and he started laughing. He was like, "I love the living part," and
that's awesome.
But it's like like our kids will be wondering like what was going on like in 20 years from now. Who knows? It'll be like the technology, everything around us will be so far more advanced than we will ever imagine. And like I'm trying to like stamp this right now, like make a video right now, record this right now, like.
Yeah, that's something super powerful. Like when we're creating these things, they'll be around forever too. They're there.
And it's like you can be like something. This is the most basic level. This is why I'm doing this. Is like, what was I thinking when I was 17 on October 11th, 2020? Like what was I thinking? You know, and it's like
I'd love to watch this in 20 years.
Yeah, dude.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and it'll be on YouTube. Hopefully YouTube's still around. Like that's a cool like. This is yet another thing that keeps me going. Like, there's so many things that I'm realizing that I love about this that keep me going and push me. Like, yeah, that's a cool. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, keep doing that. Like, I feel like it kind of makes sense for me to spend $350 because I do see the longevity in this idea.
Yeah.
And it's like exciting for me. Anyways, you have any last remarks that you wanna?
Last remarks. I don't know. We could talk like. Could talk about like music for a little if you want to. If there's any like musicians listening.
Musicians. Oh yeah. That's a thing. Like
we could.
So
talk
an
about
idea.
Theory or
I mean, I do continuously reconnect this back to myself, and I'm aware of that. And this is new. I'm not amazing at interviewing people, and but this is just how I have a conversation. I connected back to myself. Maybe that's a little too egocentric. Whatever. But
no, I think this was a great conversation.
Yeah, but like the way I will title this video will be like a talk with a musician, like a teenage I don't know, like a music prodigy. I don't really know. Like I don't know what
Don't
word.
say prodigy.
Okay, I won't. I probably would have. Okay.
I hate that word for like a lot of reasons.
Why do you hate that word?
Because like I don't know if anyone's like born a prodigy. Like prodigy would be like you don't ever practice. Like you're just thrown. There's actually a few people that are prodigies, and it's like when they hit their head really hard, and then all of a sudden they can play the piano without ever touching a piano before.
Or like
that's what I'd call a prodigy.
Yeah.
But like everyone who plays music like works on something at a time. Like prodigies, or what we call prodigies, like they will be very advanced for their age, but they're still learning the art.
Right.
They're still learning from people that are better than them.
Yeah. And the thing
so
is
that's why I don't like the word.
The thing is with prodigies is like once they're like adult normal age, like everyone else is caught up to them and they're not a prodigy anymore. They're just super talented.
Or they're like well known. Yeah.
So I'll say what? A talk, because I call them a talk with, that's like my name for them, with a musician. You like that?
Say a talk with music.
A talk with music. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cause like
you can call it whatever you want.
Macy Johnson was like, I didn't really know how to articulate that. A talk with a teenage like activist, like that seems weird. She's not, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like Macy Johnson, like, you know, like there we go. But I didn't actually explain it at all. My friend was like, "Yo, who is this like girl? Like, why am I watching this?" You know, like my friend from SK, he was like, "Who is this?" So like, you know, moving forward, I'll have to introduce people and like explain why it's important to listen.
Yeah.
But I did.
We could do that at the end.
Well, I think I did. I was like, Kyle is a music guy, like in my grade. Like that was me doing.
You could put music guy on the
the
bottom of the screen.
But with my grandpa, like I don't want to like diss him, like, cause he's a whole ass person, and I could, you know, but I'm gonna probably say like I've talked with a 90-year-old, cause that's like the key word is like that, like that's the message that I wanted was like, I'm talking to an old guy, you know what I mean? This is what he has to share. He was living in a day before technology, right? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I kind of missed the opportunity to ask those questions because we like the conversation went in a different direction, and I also am so new at this that like I need to catch when I want to take the conversation in my own direction. Like the questions that I have already, like how do I get those to naturally come up and like talk about those? You know, I wanted to ask like, you know, he grew up in a time without phones. He hasn't had phones since the last 10 years of his life. It's like, yo,
it's crazy.
He's had 80 years without a phone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our entire life will be with phones, you know what I mean?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, it will, yeah, man. And like, so like he was telling me like, you know, when December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor Day, like he was in the basement playing with boxes as you do when you don't, you know, and his mom came and was like, Eddie, that Japanese just bombed Pearl Harbor. And he like, you know, he just like had he was describing his emotions and everything. And it's like, that is history. Pearl Harbor, we talk about it in history class, in the textbooks, is black and white. You know what I mean? Like, they talk like this. At 4:30 p.m., the Japs bombed. You know, it's like, that's what they talk about. It's like, he was in it. He was living. He was alive. He was like a normal, he wasn't just an infant.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? He was like, experienced it, and like, he was our age when the war ended. He like, served in the Korean War, and like, he was a military police, so he never fought. But like, he was a 40-year-old man. Yes, he was. He was 40 years old in the 70s. Like, what?
Yeah. Wow.
Like, what?
That's a lot of life.
There's a lot of life.
Yeah.
And it's not, and like my grandpa specifically, like, he's not just an old dude, but he's also been insightful his entire life. So that was like why it was so interesting. And also to be able to interview my grandpa, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's special.
I don't know when I'll have, you know, every day for him. And he's aware, like, every day he takes gratitude for it, you know what I mean? Like, or doesn't take for granted, I was going to say. Anyway, so music. Do you want to like... Music. Well, you know, in band, do you feel like you can connect with the musician, like when you're playing? Have never once felt like we're all in a groove. There's 90 kids, so it's like impossible.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like
that's my answer.
Yeah, band has really and I didn't sign up for band this year either. Like I was turned off by it all, and it didn't satisfy any like bone of like happiness, and it was just a grind. Like I did not like playing bass clarinet because I just wanted to play guitar last year.
Yeah, I will say like there's great things that happen in band, but even in like all-state band, which is like best of the best, I suppose. I don't feel a connection there either.
Really?
Because I don't like know everyone on a personal level.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like, you know, kids come and go in band and all state, and you spend like, you know, 2 days with them and then play.
Right.
So it's more like I feel kind of like isolated or like this alien there that's like trying to connect with people musically, and then
yeah. Well, that's
everyone's
awesome that
just
you're
kind of like staring by you.
That's so awesome that like you're the one who wants to connect with people musically, because like you're applying to like what, NYU, Berkeley, like the people that are going there want that too, and you'll be surrounded by people. Like I'm so excited for you for college, man. Like that's gonna be so, like I feel like you'll have a great time because you'll be around people.
Yeah,
that,
I hope
like,
so.
Yeah, I mean I hope so too for whatever I go. You know what I mean? Like I just don't have the history of, you know what I mean? Like you have the history of the music, you have the grades, I'm sure. Like, you know what I mean? Like to support you getting into these schools. Like for me, it's a stretch, but that's my own thing. But like, yeah, I'm excited for you, like to meet these people, and like that's the main takeaway from music for me is like, it's like the emotion of it, and it sounds like you have that, and you also have the technical background to, you know, get it done. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited too. Like, the music scene here is really cool, and we're in the smallest state with like the smallest city, I suppose.
Really, in Rhode Island, the music scene is like cool?
Yeah, I mean, there's great musicians here and places to play, and like, which is so surprising because
really?
Like,
is Providence known to be like a music hub of?
Yeah, I mean, Providence is very artsy, so a lot of great musicians come from Providence.
Dude, I was in Providence last night, and we're at you know, Plant City.
Yep.
Yeah, so like that walking bridge right there, and my dad and I, it was like nice and warm, and I was like, this is a nice ass city, dude.
Yeah, people shit on Providence all the time, and I don't quite get it because
me neither, bro. It's like
it's small, but it fits our state, and there's so much
character,
great stuff happening there. Like,
yeah,
there's
dude.
so many good schools there too, if you think about it.
Oh my god.
Like, well, Brown and RISD are right down the street from each other. Those are like world-renowned schools.
Exciting for Alex. Like sometimes I'm like, Alex could get anywhere. He could literally go anywhere, and it's like he is just going to Brown. But the thing is, just going to Brown. You know, it's like it's a fucking amazing place. You know?
I have a cousin who's like, her dad is from here. Like my mom's brother, and then he moved out to Seattle. He's a doctor in Seattle.
Oh, really? Because I'm looking at schools in Seattle.
But my cousin is really smart. Is a sophomore at Brown. So like, really? She came back here, which is really cool.
From Seattle?
Yeah, she had never lived here, but like this is where her family is. Like we're all here. So she comes here in the summer. And
did she live in Seattle?
Yeah, she lived her whole life in Seattle.
Oh, I think she. Ask her like how, because I like feel like I would love Seattle. I've
always wanted to go there. My mom used to live in Seattle.
Oh, like what did she say about it? Like anything?
It was wild. She lived there in like the 90s during the Nirvana days, I think.
Oh my god. Yo, that's like history.
For like maybe like 2 summers, or she spent like summers there.
Yeah.
With her brother maybe or something.
Right.
I don't quite know.
School like University of Washington, Seattle.
Yeah.
Like Seattle seems like, and it's like you have an amazing city, and then I love like big part of me is like nature. Like you've heard me in math class.
Yeah.
Like a big part is like nature, and so you can be in the city, and then like you could probably take an hour drive out, and then you'll be in beautiful mountains in the like. Oh my god, it's so like I want to be there so bad, but it's also like kind of a reach school. But I'm still gonna apply, see what happens. But you know, I'm kind of like concerned with the college. Like I'll probably end up going to UVM, and probably end up, you know, it's like it's still a good school and all, but it's like not in a city. Yeah, it's not in a city. But you know, if I don't like it, I'm gonna try hard and reapply to the schools I want in a year after. You know what I mean? It's a whole process. And also, like, you can. Or I love it.
You can go to that college, and then maybe you'll get a job near a city, and or you get a job like outside of a city, and then you could live near a city.
Yeah. I mean, this whole like creative, like, you know, music, making videos, like I want to be in a city. I want to be where things are happening.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I feed off of that, and be like, oh yeah, like people are doing shit. Like this is exciting. I want to do this. Like,
my dream would be like to live in a city and be creative there in like my 20s.
Yeah.
And then move out to somewhere like here.
Yeah.
And be like really isolated and.
Dude, that sounds
keep doing what I love, but like, you know.
I want to have a house
and have a family.
A house on Bonnet, like, you know what I mean, or Southern, or like in Matunic or Charlestown, like, dude.
I think I gotta get myself out of Rhode Island, but.
Yeah, first step is out of Rhode Island. I love Rhode Island. I love being able to, this is my home, you know what I mean?
This is beautiful, man.
Yeah, bro,
it seemed like Vermont driving up here with
yeah,
the
it's sick.
ferns alongside.
Yeah, I love it. I love this. And I love living where I do, but I do want to change the scene. I want to just, you know, for my life and for my own self-worth, I want to be able to be like, that was childhood, now I'm in this completely new setting. That's why Vermont is cool, and it is a new setting, but it's like, it's still New England. It doesn't completely shift.
Setting is so important.
Yeah.
Like, to go back to music, like a change of scenery. Like if I go make music with someone at like their house or their studio, or just go to a studio, it's like that changes the game for me. I don't know what it is, but like it really changes the game. Like I have a family friend that has a cabin up in Vermont, and we always go up there, and a bunch of musicians go, like some that are notable and some that are, you know, making music just for fun. And we all go up there, and they have like a studio, and we'll make music, and it's like the things that we make up there are like I could never replicate on my own in my room. Like,
right. Yeah, man. I mean, that's what.
And it's just a change of setting.
And you're saying it's in Vermont?
People. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then now I have a little bit more faith in Vermont. Okay.
Yeah, man. Don't
doubt
Vermont.
All right. I mean, like, I have to be excited by wherever I'm. You know, like.
Yeah.
We're talking about everything, like, right now, like, this is what I want to do now, because this is, like, how I can stamp, like, the living in the present. Like, this is me, like, doing that. But at this point in my life, it seems like an irony where I have to think about the future. Like, within the next month, I have to apply and think about the future. And, you know, all I want is to just, like, take it day by day and, like, live in the now, appreciate what I got right now.
That is so important.
It is important.
Living in the present.
It's important. But right now, it is very difficult with the college everything, applications, and it seems like it's like yet another excuse to like suck me out of, and I like want to like meditate. And that's why I am meditating, because I want to like bring it in, like reel it in, like be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, with the whole college thing, like, I'm sure wherever I go, I will figure it out and be happy. I am not a type of person who's depressed because of one thing.
I think you're also not the type of person to like keep doing something that you know is like not for you.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna spend 4 years at this 60,000 uni just to like piss off and be unhappy with what I'm doing. Like, that doesn't sound like you. Or
exactly. And I'm glad that you pick up on that.
I wish that people didn't feel that way, because it doesn't have to be that way. Like,
exactly.
Ever.
It doesn't. And like, this is. I'm like was writing a script for a video about success and like what is success, and it's like this. Life to me seems like, and it goes back to hustle and everything. It seems to me that if you're unhappy with something, and you don't do anything to change it, it won't get better. And my analogy for this was, I ran out of seasoning for the ramen packet, but I still had the ramen.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I season this ramen? And the video I watched, she was explaining, you gotta keep seasoning the water so to make the broth, because that's what the noodles taste like. And if the broth doesn't taste good, it won't get better from there. Like, you have to keep seasoning it, and you have to keep putting salt and curry powder and this and that to then make it taste good. And it was like, that analogy comes back as like, if you don't like what you got in life, you have to make it better.
Yeah.
It won't just get better if you don't do anything about it. And like, I am hyper aware of that, and that's like part of my bones. Like, my DNA is to, if I'm not happy with something, to like, you know, change it. So I'm certain, like, wherever I end up, like, I'm be able to check in with myself. Like, is this what I want? Is this what I like?
Yeah.
And right now,
important.
yeah, and I'm, you know, I appreciate for myself that I'm aware of that. Like, it's a good thing that I know I have like unlock. Like, that's part of me. You know, I was born with that. But you know, wherever I end up, you know, I'll make the most of it. You know, and you know, hopefully I don't get stuck. That's my whole thing. I don't want to get stuck anywhere.
Yeah.
That's like
me too.
I feel like a lot of people don't think about that.
Yeah, I definitely have a direction, but I can't say I like have a clear tunnel of like where I'm going.
Yeah.
I think like things will take care of themselves too, and I'll find my spot. Like
Right.
I'll work hard and be the best I can be, and then things will eventually clear up, and I'll see where I want to go, and
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I ended it off with Macy, like, asking where you see yourself in 5 years. And I don't really like that question because it seems 5 years is very limiting. But I like the question, like, in the future, where do you see yourself? Like, where do you hope to see yourself?
I just hope that what I'm doing is like what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to be doing something just to like provide for a family or provide for myself. Like I want to be at peace with the decision that I made to, work or.
I don't want to regret anything.
Right. I don't want to have regrets, and I don't know. I want to make the most out of the time I have on this planet.
Same, bro. Same. That's fucking awesome. I respect that you have that same same idea as me on that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean it's it's a grim thought, but it's like you got to make the most of
the finite
days
time
you have on this planet, and it's like it's amazing that we're here and
yeah, man,
we have all these opportunities, but like I don't want to waste days. I don't want to waste years.
Exactly. That's my whole train of thought. That's why I'm 17 and I'm doing this. Like, if it doesn't happen now, I'm gonna waste time.
Yeah.
Fucking start now. Every day, like, you gotta remind yourself. And this is like, and going back to meditation, like, I've been like the meditations I've been doing recently. I'm still thinking about external things, and good meditations are when you like completely forget about everything and like you're like in the rhythm. Like those are good meditations, and I get those, But when you're just like grateful for what you got right now and like reset your day and like approach each day with a happiness and the mentality of like excitement, you want to succeed and you believe in that, like, everything else will follow. And like the idea of doing what I want to do now, like keep myself happy for the future.
I say like when you're young, just go for it. Like you just gotta go for it and don't care what other people think.
Yeah,
just
man.
if it's in you, like
Fuck
you'll get there, and things will work itself out. If things don't always work out either, and that's important to know. Like this dream I have might not work out, but usually it's like a blessing in disguise, and
yeah, man,
you find something that you really love as well, and then maybe you're like, wow, I really didn't like this. Like I see so many people, like student athletes, like they'll go play a D1 sport, and then next year they'll like transfer schools. Like I hated that, and then they find what they want to do in life.
Right.
And it's like it takes that failure.
Don't be afraid to fail.
What you want to do. Yeah.
And don't give up either. People, and that's my thing. Just everywhere I look, I'm surrounded by people that like gave up already, and it's like, bro, you only gave it a couple months, man.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, obviously, it's not gonna succeed. It's like, where's the commitment in that? And what's great is that like, I have experienced already in my 17 years of life. Like, I've done Boy Scouts for 8 years. You start when you're 10, so 7 years now, almost 8. And like, there's a very long time there, right in the middle, where I was certain I was going to quit. I was just going to quit. And by the grace of God, like, I didn't, and I stayed in it, and it's the best thing that I've done. It's like I don't play a sport. I mean, I play tennis and I did swim, but like, they're not a part of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Scouts is a part of me, and it's like, it makes me who I am. And like, from that experience, I've gained so many other appreciations for different things.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
Like, yeah, being able to commit to something, and like, I could keep going on and on.
And being able to start a fire in the woods by yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm really
cool,
bad at that. That's one thing I'm bad at. Not fire. When I had a fire last night, I used a cheater log that like.
Oh, really?
I am very bad, and I was whittling, and I have a scar that I can point at on my thumb, but I was whittling and sliced my thumb open. Like, I'm on the technical side, I'm a very bad Boy Scout, but on the like the moral side and like doing what's right, I like feel like I have that pretty
that's
unlocked.
awesome. That's the importance.
Yeah, that's the important.
I was just saying it's cool to do
that
too.
Like, it's cool. Like, I have a better understanding of fire than most people,
Yeah.
And, like, knots, but like, I'm not very good. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, it's exciting that, and I really love that you know these things about life, like to do these things that you want, and like I love.
Oh
it.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. All right, well, I'm gonna wrap it up. We've been going on
Wrap
for Alrighty, guys. If you have any lasting comments, questions, concerns, anything you want to add, leave them in the comments below. If you guys liked the video, please remember to like it. If you disliked it, give it a dislike. Kyle, you got anything you want to add?
No.
No, nothing to add. All right, guys. It was nice talking, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
man.
This was awesome.
Yeah, it was a good experience.
I encourage also anyone else that wants to do one of these. I encourage you to, even if you don't think you're interesting, you probably are.
Yeah, reach out to me or start it for yourself, dude. Do what you want. If you want something and you want to be on here or you want to do something for yourself.
That's my final word.
Yeah.
Ask Jonah to come talk.
Or do it yourself.
It's good to
anything.
talk. Yeah.
Reach out to people.
Talking's good.
Yeah, bro. All right. Mic drop. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all of you. And goodbye.